Alright traders, a very good evening to you all. This is Avril from the Tradepsyche and I welcome you all to the post-market analysis, outlook and expectations from the market for tomorrow's market. Tomorrow will be Nifty 50's expiry, so we'll also discuss that how can be the expiry tomorrow, what are the premiums, and in this video we'll discuss that how were the markets today, what discussions we had in our yesterday's weekly analysis video. Did that work out or did that not work out? We'll also see some of the crucial supports and resistances for tomorrow's market. In the end of this video, we'll also analyze the change in OI data and the total open interest in order to figure out that what is the bias which got formed today in the market. Alright, so let's start the discussion. So today, if you see, essentially what we have done is, and probably I'll take you to our Telegram group also in order to make you guys see that what discussions we have had, right? Alright, so today, I think when the discussion started, I think if you are a regular viewer of our videos, you must have seen yesterday's analysis, and we mentioned that yes, at this point of time the risk to reward for shorts is not good. I think some recovery is expected, and exactly that's what happened today. We opened and we waited for the first 1.5 2 hours of the market because it was it was the market opening after a long weekend. So whenever the markets open after a long weekend, they generally remain very volatile in the first 1 to 2 hours, right? And post that we saw a dump. We saw I think near to 11 o'clock we saw a dump till 22,500, and if you guys remember, we mentioned that 22,500 is a clear cut good support. We mentioned this in yesterday's weekly analysis that if the markets come at 22,500, try to buy the market, right? And we also discussed this in yesterday's OI change analysis, total open interest analysis and OI change analysis, that 22 to 500 looks a good support to me, right? So this is what we discussed when the markets were opened. We mentioned that we are looking at pure flat opening. We are looking at pure flat opening. Change in OI, we mentioned that a major support can be seen at 22,000, but small supports can be seen at 22,300, 22,200. Major resistance is 23,000. That's what exactly we have done. We went till 23,000 and we took a resistance. Then total open interest 22,500 seems a very good support, and 23,000 seems a good resistance. Seems beyond this range only we can see a good move. FI's index, we mentioned that on Thursday also FIs have shorted the market. So FI stands are sell on rise. The biggest discussion we had is the discussion of participants by data. Retailers were short in the market, so technically the 90 percentage of the event will be, if the clients or the retailers they are heavily short, the markets will rise. FIs they are bullish, pros they are bullish. We can see a buy on dips market. We discuss this. Then we discuss the game plan. We are at 22,700. We are seeing a flat opening as some positive news has come. Right, as per the data, we can see some bullish moves today. So above the first red zone, we marked the first red zone. The first red zone was the zone of 22. This was the zone. Above the first red zone, this was the red zone 780. Above the first red zone, we can see, if we sustain, we can see good bullish moves. Then we can play intraday longs by shorting the puts. Any good healthy longs will only come above 23,000 as discussed in the video. Shorts will only be good below 22,200. So above 22,750 we will start adding some put sells. If we sustain above 23,000 on daily basis, then we can add some future buy. So still we have not yet added the future buy because we have not sustained. But post that, I think we discussed why we are looking for bullish opportunities, because the whole markets are in fear and no one is looking at IT as of now. So it creates alpha, right? Then we mentioned that OI changed till now totally neutral data. Even till I think 11 o'clock the data was fully neutral. Then we mentioned that Nifty is forming a flagpole bullish pattern. It has sustained in the range of 22,500 to 700 for some time now. Any move over 22,700 can take us to 22,800. This was a message I posted around 11 o'clock. So roughly 11 o'clock, at 11 o'clock markets were at roughly 22,600. The moment markets crossed 22,700 with a breakout, the markets didn't stop, and further we crossed 2250 points in the market we captured, right? Then we mentioned get ready for some Notification has come. Okay. That get ready for some PE sells as Nifty is holding up decent and VIX is also falling off. This we mentioned roughly around 12:22. Then I think some positive news came today that some ceasefire is going to happen, right? If then we mentioned that this is a Poland flag and its target is roughly coming at 23,500. So till 23,000, I think we reached 500 points are more to come, right? And then we posted some market sending comments. So this is what exactly happened today in the markets. All right, traders. Now let's start the discussion for tomorrow. These levels are very crucial. That's why I'm not removing these levels. So now today we have closed above prior daily high, right? So it's a first sign that yes, markets are trying to become bullish, but still the VIX is above the level of 25. But a good sign is the VIX has closed in red today. The VIX has not appreciated. The VIX has closed in red today. So the only level which you have to remember, and even in weekly analysis videos, we mentioned that skip these 300 points. Even though yes, we traded this move in our community using put sells, but a real good healthy move will only come out 23,000 tomorrow, if at all we close an early candlestick above this level. Right above this level, if we close the first level above 23,000, which you will see tomorrow will be 23,180. Above 23,180 we have a gap till 23,280 and we can see a move till 23,500. Till 23,500 I think it will be a good move, but the major challenge tomorrow will be the cross of 23,000. And if tomorrow, we'll discuss on 15 minutes time frame that what will happen if we open a gap up, but the closing is good. And whatever discussions we were having, that we will see a pause, yes, a pause is definitely coming in the markets, but the recovery is very slow. If you look at the markets from a weekly time frame perspective, you will see that yes, it is a easy move. It would have been an easy move, but if you go to daily time frame, it is a choppy move. 3 days down, 2 days up, 3 days down, 2 days up. So it's not an easy markets to trade. But again, the markets are above 5 DMA. So the prime target for moving average players becomes 20 DMA, which is 23, 380, 23, 400. So roughly from my perspective, from my analysis, if at all tomorrow, sorry, I think some network error has come. If at all tomorrow we sustain early basis, we sustain of 23,000, try to go long for a target of 23,500. At 23,500, book your longs. Keep an SL. What SL will you keep? Let's suppose if you go long at this point of time, 23,000 sustaining basis, keep an SL of roughly 22,800, 22,700. From where today, I think we saw a breakout, right? This red zone. So now technically this red zone will be converted into green zone and this will be a good support. So if you are going long here roughly, keep a stop loss at 22,780, 750 and keep on trailing stop loss on every 100 to 150 point rise. That's it. Alright. So and above this is also early 100 EMA. So above early 100 EMA, since the start of this fall, the prices have not crossed 100 EMA. So tomorrow, if 100 EMA early gets crossed, which is at the level of 23,120, the next prime target becomes early 200 EMA. Getting my point, which is at 23,700. But before 23,700, I think 23,500 will be a good resistance. All right. For the bear case scenario tomorrow, if at all you want to talk for the downside, the only level which you have to take care of is 22,500, because this is the level from where we took support today and it's a hold down number also. So do not short the market unnecessarily. Short only if at all we sustain below 22,500. And the closing is very much important. Today we have closed above prior daily high, so that is a positive sign, that is a bullish sign. Let's go to 5 minutes time frame and discuss on the basis of opening how we can trade the markets. See, if at all we are opening a big gap up, let's suppose we are opening roughly around here, wait for a move till prior daily high or prior daily close, which is roughly the same point, right? So whenever this gap gets created on the upside, wait for this retracement, then try to go long here. If at all markets are opening a very big gap up, I'll be personally looking for buy and dips opportunities, but you have to keep your entry right. Don't enter into the markets as soon as the markets are opening up. Wait for the retest. Wait for a good entry. If at all the markets are opening, a big gap down, I will not be interested in the market. I will try to sit out, or I will short the markets only and only if I sustain below. On hourly basis or 2 hourly basis, I sustain below 22,500. Currently, we have closed at roughly 22,970, 960. So unless tomorrow I don't see 22,500 breaking down, I won't short the market. That's it, right? Getting my point? Let's go to Bank Nifty. Bank Nifty today has done a good job, and the same story here for Bank Nifty. If at all we are crossing 52, 300, 52, 400, then we can keep a target of 54, 150 or 55,000. So this is also coming from the weekly analysis video. These are the same levels which we discussed for Bank Nifty. For Bank Nifty, the shorts now will only and only come below 51,000. That's it. So in Bank Nifty also, if you guys trade above 52,700, which was today's high, you can essentially aim for 54,000. Getting my point? Let's go on 15 minutes time frame. Same story. If a big gap up happens, wait for the retest, then trade the markets. If a big gap down happens, leave the markets for tomorrow, because what will happen is, if the markets are opening a very big gap down, it will create volatility, because these bulls will be trapped and the fresh bears will not be coming, because the markets are not breaking a good level, right? But seeing the charts, the bias is, I think, slightly bullish, right? We cannot ignore today's rise. If you see, essentially today we have risen from, the markets rose from 22,550 till 950, almost 400 point move. So it's not a small move, and prior to that also from the bottom we saw a 400 point move. So we pointed out this pole and flag pattern, and this got completed today, right, traders? So be careful in the market. If the markets are showing you that yes, I'm in a buy and dips, and how to figure out a buy and dips? For the whole day the markets did not even come below the last moving average, which is 200 EMA. Every time it was hitting 20 EMA 5 minutes, it was taking a support. Getting my point? So on an overall basis, the closing is good. Let's see the change in OI data. The change in OI data is addition of 3 CR of longs and only roughly less than 1 CR of addition of shorts. So clearly, yes, the data which has got added today, it is slightly bullish. Not even slightly, it is bullish. It is decent bullish. And the decent supports have been added at 22,800, 700. But biggest support today has been added as, again today which has been added is at 22,500. Now the only resistance from total open interest perspective remains is 23,000. Above 23,000 you can essentially see 23,200 and finally 23,500. Biggest support is 22,500. That's it. Alright. So I think the data is also indicating the change in OI data, and the OI data is also indicating that yes, we can again see a bullish momentum, but we'll have to see that what exactly the data comes after 7:30. The participants OI data, that matters a lot. As you can see, whatever we discussed in the participants OI, change in OI, exactly that happened today. We anticipated a buy market, and we got exactly that. Right. So for Bank Nifty, the change in OI data is also good bullish, with support getting added at 52,500 and even at 52,000. And even in the money, players have gone and added support. So this is aggressive bullishness, and this is overconfidence. Let's see. 52,500 has still more bears than bulls in Bank Nifty, but I think tomorrow this green bar will get bigger than the red bar. I think so. Right. So from overall perspective, I think Nifty, from charts perspective, from data perspective, Nifty, the markets, they look decent, provided something very negative should not come from the global market. right? So this was the analysis for tomorrow's this one. Okay, one more thing. Tomorrow will be expiry, so we'll discuss the premiums. That how are the premiums? Premiums are very high. Both sided premiums are roughly at 200 points, which means that yes, the markets are expecting a movement tomorrow. So any move above 23,000, you can essentially expect 23,200 and 500. These are the only two levels which you have to remember. Getting my point? So this was it, traders. This was the analysis for tomorrow. And today the VIX has also closed in red. So I think from my perspective, slightly markets are sensing that yes, some positivity will come, and the markets are slowly and steadily coming out of the shock of the war. That's what markets are indicating, right? So do not stay unnecessarily bearish that oh, some attack will happen. Nothing. Only take care of your data and your levels. That's it. And your risk management. I will help you with the data and the levels. Risk management you have to take care of. Right? So this was the analysis for tomorrow. Stay safe in the market. Cheers. Goodbye.